Hello, welcome to another edition of Witchfinder's Gaming Vault, and the game I'm going to be looking at today, as you can see here, is WWF Royal Rumble on the Sega Megadrive, or the Genesis to be more specific with this version. Let's take a look at the fact file for this one. WWF Royal Rumble was released in 1993, and this is the US Genesis version, as you've already seen. It was published by Flying Edge, which was a division of Acclaim Entertainment, and it was developed by Sculptured Software. The price I paid for this game probably more than 15 years ago was £3.92. I've got no idea I got a Genesis version of the game for that amount of money, but I did. And the current going rate for this game on eBay, for the PAL version at least, is £15 to £20. That's for a box complete copy. Let's begin by taking a look at the packaging then. As you can see, it's WWF Royal Rumble, not WWE as it is now, but WWF. And you can see some of the WWF superstars at that point in time. From left to right, we've got Lex Luger, The Undertaker, Macho Man Randy Savage, Razor Ramon, and of course Hulk Hogan, who needs no introduction. So this is a Genesis packaging, so it's got this red style to it, and it says 6 in the Ring Mayhem, each superstar's trademark move, chokeholds, chair slams, and more. So looking at the spine, again, it's got that red design to it with the Flying Edge logo, big Genesis logo, and also the Royal Rumble logo. And then on the back, bunch of screenshots of the different game modes. So you can see different things. You can use chair shots. You can use finishing maneuvers. You've got the tombstone of the Undertaker there, eye gouges, 2 and 3 man tag team action. That's the list of all the superstars available on this version. There is a SNES version of the game, and that had some of the same superstars, I believe, but then some that were different, so some exclusives to each version. As you can see at the bottom there, it's for 1 or 2 players, as you'd expect for a wrestling game. And for the information about it, it says all new 16 Meg Mayhem. In the ring, out of control. Atomic drop, headbutt, pile drive, and drop kick your way through the most grueling test of wrestling skills ever devised. And it features the Royal Rumble match, as you'd expect with the name of the game. That's 6 in the ring at once. You can also have the no-holds-barred brawl with no ref and no rules. And it also mentions about chokeholds, eye gouges, and back-breaking chair slams. More superstars than ever before, each with their own trademark moves. And it's also got a tournament mode as well, where you can win the championship belt. This is the game cartridge then, and as you'd expect, it looks very similar to the front cover of the game. It's got that red branding on it, and of course the Royal Rumble logo, and the same superstars that were on the front there. So let's move on to the instructions, which again look very similar to the outside packaging. We've got contents page, we've got how to handle your cartridge, we've got things about the controller and stuff like that. We don't need to look at any of that. It then gives you an overview of all the different game modes. So there's one-on-one, there's tag team, which you can have 2 or 3 on each side. There's a brawl, there's tournament mode, and there's the Royal Rumble mode, which is probably the most interesting mode compared to other wrestling games of the time. It then goes through all the moves and maneuvers, and this game supports the 6-button Megadrive pad, which is what I'm going to be using, so that gives you a little bit more advantage because you don't have to push certain buttons at the same time to do certain moves. So I'm not going to dwell on this too much. There's loads of information. There's all the different things about you can do body slams, suplexes, headbutts. You can push them into the ropes. You can do an atomic drop or a backbreaker. So it goes on. It's basically got a grapple mode, which I'll get into when we're looking at the actual game, that helps you deliver those different moves. So again, more information there about moves and maneuvers. On it goes. It's also got a section for rule breakers only there, where you can do things like choking and eye gouging and hitting people with chairs. And moving on, we've got basically then quick reference charts, which give you an overview of all the moves on 2 pages, which is nice to refer to when you're first getting into the game. And also it then goes on to special moves for each of the superstars, so you can see each one's got their own trademark move, like the sharpshooter for Bret the Hitman Hart, Hulk Hogan's famous leg drop of doom, Macho Man Randy Savage has got the flying elbow smash, Razor Ramon's got the razor's edge, and so on. If you know anything about wrestling of this era, you know all these moves. And if you don't, then you're probably wondering why you're even watching this video right now. It then got some strategies to remember, and then profiles of all the superstars as well, which I'm not going to go through in too much detail, but you can see there they are. There's some pretty naff superstars from this era, to be honest, like the narcissist Lex Luger, the model Rick Martel, Those two are pretty good. Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon were big names at that point in time. IRS, a character based on a taxman, and Papa Shango is some kind of voodoo guy. So yeah, some of the stars at this point in time were pretty poor, and I'll talk about that a little bit more when we're looking at the game, which is going to be right now, because there we go, that was the instructions. Let's get the game started. Okay, so here is the title sequence for WWF Royal Rumble. You can see all the different superstars being shown on screen in what has to be said for 1993, pretty good digitized graphics. You can easily recognize them all if you know them. There's Shawn Michaels, for example. There's the model, Rick Martel. Anyway, so yeah, it goes through and shows you all these different characters, and then it goes into a demo, I think. Nice WWF logo at the top there in the Royal Rumble, and there's obviously an arena in the background. Here you go, it's going to go into a demo now, showing some of the action. So before I get into the action, I should probably explain why I'm playing this game and why I have fond memories of it. So when I was a kid, not really a kid, I suppose in my early teens, I was big into wrestling from about 1990 to 1992. This game was released in 1993, and I bought it when I had a Megadrive, probably in the mid to late 90s, because I lost interest in wrestling in about 1993, this era in fact, because some of my favourite characters or stars disappeared from the scene for a bit, and also the quality of the wrestling, or the quality of the characters, got really bad in the mid 90s. If you're not familiar with WWF in the mid 90s, they had lots of these characters which were based on real life professions. The Undertaker's one of those, but he was one of the more successful ones. But you had IRS, who was based on being a tax collector. You had two guys who were pig farmers basically, and also wrestlers. You had a guy called Duke the Dumpster Drozy, who was a garbage man and a wrestler, and also Isaac Yankem DDS, who was a dentist and a wrestler. It was pretty awful. So yeah, as I got a bit older, I lost interest in it. But then when the Attitude Era, as it was called, started in the late 90s with people like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, I got back into it then. So that's my sort of history with wrestling. Recently I've been watching some of those old matches and things I'd never seen before on the WWE network. They have an archive of all their old pay-per-views and things like that. So obviously I'm a grown-up, I know it's not real, it's just it's like violence and soap opera combined, really, isn't it? So it's pretty entertaining at times, it can be very funny at times. I don't take it too seriously. So anyway, yeah, that's my history with wrestling. Let's get on with the game. So you've got various options. You've got one-to-one, one-on-one I should say, tag team, triple tag team, and Royal Rumble. So I'm going to start with a tag team match just to show a few of the characters off. And some of these characters are not the best that the WWF or pro wrestling had to offer, in all honesty, at this point in time. Well, actually at this point in time they probably were. I'm going to go with difficulty level 5, middle level difficulties, reasonably competitive against a computer. You can also see there are various options about whether you play a normal match or a brawl match, which means that you're basically you don't have to pin the opponent, you just have to wear their energy down. There's also a championship match, which is a series of matches to try and win the titles in whichever category you're in. You can have one or two players. Obviously in a tag team match you can have one player against each other, or two players against the opposition, the computer opposition. Obviously I'm playing against a computer, so I'm going to go with CPU chooses the opponents. I'll obviously choose my own players, so let's go with a couple of I'm not going with Hulk Hogan because, well, Hulk Hogan turned out to be a bit of a dick, didn't he, in all, to put not too fine a point in it. I never liked him anyway back in the 90s, but also he turned out to be a little bit racist and a bit of a backstage politician that caused a lot of people other problems. So we don't want to pick Hulk Hogan, hopefully be on the opposition side. So I'm going to go with the random combination of not him. So it gives you all the stats of all the players. Let's go with Papa Shango because he kind of goes with the Undertaker, even though they weren't sort of allies in the ring. So I'm going up against the model, Rick Martel, and Hulk Hogan. Yes, I get to beat up Hulk Hogan. It's all good. So the Undertaker and Papa Shango versus the model and Hulk Hogan in a one pinfall tag team match. So there's no intros. It's a bit of a shame. There's no ring introductions. It just goes straight into the match. And a lot of the match activity is based around these grapples, and you do the grapples. Basically, either player can initiate the grapple, and whoever initiates it sort of gets the advantage in the grapple. And from the grapple, you can hammer one of several buttons on the pad. And here we go, here comes Hogan. And you do different moves. So, for example, I'm hitting the B button at the moment, and I do a body slam. The grapple's the Y button on the 6 button pad, by the way. It's A and B together, I think, on the 3 button. So you've seen a couple of body slams there. You can do a headbutt. You can do, what am I doing here? Backbreaker. Keep going at him. Just show you all these grapple moves. Atomic drop. One interesting thing you can do is if you hammer the A button and you're near to the edge of the ring, you get to throw him out, which is cool. And then you can go outside the ring and start fighting with him outside the ring instead. He's come back in now, but he'll come out after me, I think. No, he's gone to tag his teammate because he's in trouble already. So, oh, yeah, if you do that move with the A in the middle of the ring, then you get to throw him into the ropes, and you can do drop kicks and clotheslines and things like that. Let's tag Papa Shango in. He's terrible. It's another terrible gimmick from the early 90s where you got to where he's like a witch doctor or something. He's like a voodoo priest. The guy that was underneath the face paint actually played a number of different characters in the WWF over the years. There we go, there's a nice drop kick. The animation on your character doing a drop kick's really quite graceful and quite nicely done. Overall, I think the animation's pretty good actually. So you can jump off the ropes, off the top of the ropes outside onto your opponent. There's also a steel chair that you can pick up. But what happens when you pick up the steel chair is your opponent will almost immediately go back in the ring, so we don't want to mess around with that. So another body slam. You can do all the moves when they're on the ground. You can stamp them, you can do elbow drops on them, you can run and do elbow drops, and of course you can pin them, which we'll get to eventually. Let's get Hogan outside the ring. Out you go. You can also, when they're outside the ring, Undertaker's just doing a splash on him as well. You can actually, oh, he's got suplexed outside the ring now as well. Oh, here comes Martel with the steel chair now. And Hogan wants out of this match in the worst way now, but I'm going to hopefully not let him. Throw him out the other side as well. So yeah, that's how you do the most damage, to be honest, is throw him outside, and you can smash him against the side of the ring, or also the he's going to tag the model in now. Let's tag the Undertaker back in because he's one of the big names. There you go, straight out you go again. Jump on you, do loads of damage outside the ring. You can also, if you hook up with them outside the ring, you can throw them into the railings. Let's see if we can get Hogan. There you go. Oh yes, into the railings again. Yeah, so get back in the ring. This might end up being a count out actually. So one thing you've got is special moves, and for the Undertaker that's the tombstone pile driver. I'm not going to get it this time, he's got a suplex on me. That's the first damage he's actually done. This might put him in the tombstone. Here we go, there we go. So you can do the tombstone. You have to wear them down to do that. Let's pin him now, and that should be the match over. There we go, that wasn't that difficult. Basically, as long as you initiate the grapples, then you get the advantage. So there's the ring announcer come in to raise his hand, and you can also see the commentators in the background. I think that's Vince McMahon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby the Brain was a great commentator in this era. So there you go, the Undertaker pins the model, and Undertaker and Papa Shango roll to the tag team victory. And that's pretty much it. I didn't talk much about the graphics, it was more about the gameplay. So what I'm going to do now is move on and play the Royal Rumble, which is a cut down version of the event. If you don't know what the Royal Rumble is, it's basically 30 competitors and one comes in every 2 minutes. It starts with 2, and another competitor comes in every 2 minutes, and they keep fighting until one's left, and you can only eliminate people by throwing them over the top rope. So I'm going to start a Royal Rumble match, and we'll see how that goes. So again, I'll stick with difficulty 5. I won't be the Undertaker, let's be someone else this time. Who can we choose? Let's go with Shawn Michaels. He was a big star in the mid to late 90s and beyond, to be fair. So we'll go with Shawn Michaels first. You'll note when you switch to a wrestler for a particular amount of time, it starts playing a version of his theme tune. The music's pretty good. The sort of main theme is a bit generic of the game, but the theme music for each of the stars is reasonably recognisable. So anyway, let's start this Royal Rumble. It's that time again where I say thank you to all my channel members, whose names you can see here in my Supporters Hall of Fame. If you're enjoying this video and would like to join these fine folks and support my efforts, why not become a member yourself? For a monthly fee starting from just 99p, you can get access to the special membership perks shown on screen, and more besides. If you're interested, then please click on the join button below this video for more information. Oh, big start here with Bret Hart right from the start. These two are massive rivals in the late 90s, and here we go. So you don't wait 2 minutes. Firstly, it's like a matter of seconds before another competitor comes in, and you can only have a maximum of 6 in the ring, and there's only 12 or 15 or something like that guys in the game, so you're clearly not going to get the full 30-man experience. So you can grapple with people. It's a bit mayhem. The idea, of course, is to throw them over the top rope, but you've got to wear them down first. And the way you throw them over the top rope most easily is that hip toss move that I was doing. So you get them in a grapple and then hammer the A button. But until they're worn down, they won't go out. So you have to put a bit of effort in first. So another thing you can do is just stay out of the way as much as possible. This game, by the way, the game engine was used in an earlier game called Super WrestleMania, which had a lot less game modes and a lot less characters in. That was released a couple of years earlier, and it was used again in a game called WWF Raw, which I think had the same game modes and added a few more, and obviously different characters that released a couple of years afterwards. So I think it's pretty good. The way the characters look is quite convincing. They've all basically got the same body, but they've all got the the relevant ring attire and the hair colour and all that kind of stuff. So they look pretty good. See if I can throw one out. There you go. That's how you throw one out of the ring. And once you throw one out of the ring, another one will come in. There you go. Crush is coming now. So I'm just standing out of the way and letting these guys beat each other up. Oh yeah, that's another thing you can do in this match, because it's basically just a free-for-all. You can choke people and you can rake their eyes and stuff like that. But yeah, so it's just a bit of a brawl, really. It's kind of fun. It's one of these games really you want to play with 2 players. But you know, it kind of captures the essence of the Royal Rumble without actually really being that much like it. But you get the idea. I'm not sure what's going on here. I got lucky not to be thrown out then. It's really hard to win the grapples when you don't initiate them. So, but yeah, you can do elbow drops on people. You can do all kinds of stuff. There you go. Out goes Bret Hart. He was the first man in with me, so obviously there's no way of replenishing your health. Even standing out of the way won't replenish your health, I don't think. But yeah, so I think that, the animation on the characters is good. The background's pretty nice. The ring's drawn well. I like the animation on the ring announcers as actions taking place. Just clotheslined Lex Luger there, although you couldn't really see it because there's loads of other people in the way. Lots of choking going on. It's kind of silly, but then that's what wrestling's all about, isn't it? So yeah, I played this tons when I was well, not really a kid, but probably about 18. I bought a copy of this, maybe, or maybe a little bit older. So yeah, I played this loads, and I bought the Raw one as well. So I haven't played it for years. Oh, this is going to be bad news. That's really going to run me down. This is where things get a bit tricky now. I won't be lasting to the end of this Royal Rumble, I suspect. I'm almost out of energy now, which means one hip toss and I'm out of there. The best I can hope for is to avoid people and also try and throw a few out. But I don't think I'll be lasting to the end. But it's quite impressive that they can get 6 people in the ring all moving around pretty smoothly. I like the way the screen shakes when someone gets slammed. There you go, I'm out. When someone gets slammed on the ground. So what happens when you get eliminated is the Royal Rumble still goes on, so you still get to see how it all works out. So we may as well watch that while I sort of round up about this video. I could show you the other game modes, but they're all just variants of the same thing. As I say, I've got a fondness for this, and I think it's a pretty good wrestling game. You know, you've got the grappling, you've got lots of moves. It's possible to beat the computer, certainly at the sort of mid-level difficulty levels, as you've seen. You know, the animation, all the characters is good. They're all recognisable if you know the characters from this era. You've got special moves. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good wrestling game, certainly for the point in time it was made. I'm sure modern ones are much better, but overall I like it. If you like wrestling and you loved wrestling in the 90s, then you'll probably enjoy it, and if you think wrestling's stupid, then you're not going to enjoy it, are you? But it is kind of a fun game to play with 2 players, I think, as well. This is going on quite a long time now. Perhaps I should do some commentary. Undertaker's choking Razor Ramon, and they're in a grapple, and he's giving him an atomic drop, and now he's choking Papa Shango. Meanwhile, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and IRS are grappling on the other side of the ring. Undertaker unleashes another atomic drop, a crippling atomic drop to IRS. There must only be 5 left now because there's no one else coming in. So, Undertaker lucky not to get eliminated there because he was quite close to the edge of the ring when he was hip tossed. Oh, and again, close to being eliminated. Another atomic drop. They basically just atomic drop each other and so on until they're completely knackered, I guess. So who's going to win? It's still going on. In-game sound effects, by the way, very basic. You just got crowd noise in the background and a few like thuds and grunting noises, for want of a better word. So yeah, really, this is taking forever now. I thought it'd be over soon. There's a tombstone from the Undertaker on Papa Shango there, and an atomic drop, and someone else got eliminated there. I don't even know who it was. I can't remember. Oh, Razor Ramon's got eliminated. So there's 4 left, and still it goes on, and there's now 3 left. The Undertaker eliminates Papa Shango and suplexes Hacksaw Jim Duggan, choked by IRS. IRS going to give him the write-off. I think that was his finishing move. Ridiculous. It's just kind of standing and watching now. They're just taking it in turns to fight each other. Obviously, in the real Royal Rumble, 2 people would gang up on one, eliminate them, and then that'd leave 2. There goes Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So there's just 2 left. Is it going to be the Undertaker or IRS? It's quite boring now. It's much more fun to play when you're actually in it. Anyway, to round up, I think I've already round up about, there we go, and IRS wins the Royal Rumble. That's entirely unlikely. A guy of that level would never have won this match because the winner of the match generally goes on to face the champion at the next WrestleMania. So yeah, this guy would never have won it. The Undertaker would have won it, but there you go. So there you go. And the only person he eliminated was the Undertaker. So he just kind of shuffled around doing nothing until he finally got the win. So yeah, embarrassing end to the Royal Rumble there. And that's it. That's basically the game. So that's about all for this one. If you've got any thoughts about it, if you've played it before, if you like wrestling, or if you think wrestling's stupid, then let me know in the comments. And now all that remains is to choose the next game for Witchfinder's Gaming Vault, which means spinning that wheel of names and finding out. And the next game I'm going to be playing is a Commodore 64 game. It's Destructo, which is a game released by Bulldog, which was one of the Mastertronic sub-labels, which I never bothered collecting or reviewing when I did my Mastertronic series. So there you go. Next time around I'll be playing Destructo on the Commodore 64. Thanks very much for watching this video, and until the next one, see ya.